The latest on the search for survivors after a third person is found dead in Johnson County.
2 Lexington men are facing charges of torturing a dog after police say they drove with it tied to the back of a car.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good afternoon to you. We continue to track a tragic story unfolding this afternoon in Tennessee. 4 Marines have been killed in 2 shooting attacks that officials are now calling an act of domestic terrorism.
Those shootings happened before 1 o'clock this afternoon at 2 military recruiting offices in Chattanooga. One of them was in a strip mall, the other about 7 miles away at the Navy Operational Support Center and Marine Corps Reserve Center. The gunman was also killed, but authorities have not said how he died. Earlier today, a witness described the terrifying scene.
It was a regular day. I mean, he just pulled up and I didn't think anything of it. He had his drop top and he looked to the side, and next thing you know, he lifted up his arms like this with a big black gun, and just, it was one shot and then it was just endless shots, one after another, just unloading.
2 other people were wounded in the shootings, a soldier and a police officer. The officer was undergoing surgery and is expected to be okay. We'll have much more on the shootings coming up on WKYT News at 5 o'clock. People are still trying to salvage what they can in Johnson County.
Flash flooding earlier this week has killed 3 people. 1 man is still missing, and more than 100 homes were damaged or destroyed. Alex Casper Peak walked through some of the damage today and talked with flood victims. It's our top story at 4:30.
It's been 3 days since the flood hit Monday evening, and now those affected by the water are starting to wonder where they will go.
One man says he has no clue where his family will stay until they once again can live in their home.
Today's their last day in a hotel, so they're just trying to find out where to stay now. I mean, they ain't really got nowhere to stay. FEMA's supposed to come in Monday to assess it and everything and see what they're going to do about it.
Until then, all they can do is try to save what the storm did not destroy.
They get their stuff through here. Been helping them. Dixie over here, she had a China can with some old coin stuff from her husband who passed away and stuff, some China and stuff. Almost fell in the creek. I picked up and got it over there for her, just helping out over there for people and helping my family out.
Mullen says one of the hardest things is trying to talk about the damage to his 3-year-old sister.
She wants to come back home. She wants to come back home, but I can't explain that to a kid.
As they try to find words to describe what happened to their home.
As you can see behind me, many homes near Route 172 are not livable. Officials say that could take a while. In Johnson County, Alex Casper Peak, WKYT.
Well, WKYT and the Bluegrass chapter of the American Red Cross are joining forces to show victims of this week's floods that Kentucky cares. Tomorrow will be a day of giving. Volunteers will take donations over the phone from noon until 6:30 right here at the WKYT studios. Well, another dry day for folks trying to clean up in those hard-hit areas. We're enjoying this break from the rain.
We'll take all the dry days that we can get. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here with more on how long this break will last. Chris?
Yeah, we're going to carry this for the most part into our Friday, and then we may start to see some scattered stuff as the humidity levels, the old uncomfortable level, really going to be on the rise over the next couple of days. We look at the dew point temperature, one of the ways we measure the amount of humidity in the air. The higher the number, the more uncomfortable you're going to feel. Temperatures dew point wise are into the 60s now. That's not too bad. They'll look at Paducah 73. That's the air we're getting in on as we go into the next few days. The real comfortable stuff, 40s and 50s into the northern Ohio Valley where they've got 70s. Low 80s, central and eastern Kentucky. That is very nice for this time of year. It's still several degrees cooler than normal, even into western Kentucky today. A lot of the computers were saying it's going to be 90 plus into western Kentucky. That didn't happen. That is a sign of the wet ground and just how green everything is across the entire region. Still 78 into northeastern Kentucky, 80 Prestonsburg, 82 for the good folks into Richmond. More importantly, it's a dry Defender, nothing showing up on it. Here's what we are working on as we roll ahead. Steamy temperatures surging back in. Heat index values are going to increase. That's how your body is going to respond to the humidity and the temperature combined. And then, guys, the storm chances are going to rumble back in as well. We will track it all with the hour-by-hour forecast minutes ahead.
Chris, thank you. Police have arrested 2 men accused of dragging a dog to death.
Lexington police say Jesse Durham and Vincent O'Brien dragged the dog down Anniston Drive last night. Witnesses were the ones who called police. WKYT's Victor Puente is tracking the investigation. He has the details in this Crime Tracker report.
Lexington police say these men drove for miles with a dog tied to the back of their car. That dog died. Now both men are facing multiple charges. One of those men, Vincent O'Brien, was released from jail earlier this morning and attended his arraignment with an attorney. The other, Jesse Durham, is still in custody and was appointed a public defender. Police say the calls started Wednesday night near Charleston Court, near O'Brien's home. Multiple people reported seeing a car driving on Anniston with a dog tied to the back. That dog was located on Wanda Way, and police say they followed O'Brien and Durham back to Charleston Court.
When I heard squealing of tires, and the gentleman that lives down the street was coming around the corner off of Eastland onto Charleston here.
Long says Animal Care and Control accompanied police. Police say they took several other dogs from the home. Both men are charged with torturing a dog and alcohol intoxication. O'Brien is also charged with terroristic threatening and disorderly conduct. Police say he threatened an officer. O'Brien and Durham are scheduled to be back in court July 21st for their preliminary hearings. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Both O'Brien and his attorney declined to comment on the charges.
Police continue to ask for the public's help to find a suspect in the city's most recent murder. Family members found 64-year-old Shirley Clemens dead in her home on River Park Circle Tuesday night. She died of asphyxiation. Police issued a warrant for her son, 36-year-old Jack J.T. Clemens. Police think that he might be driving a 2004 black Saturn with Kentucky plate 296CZB. He is charged with murder, evidence tampering, and fraudulent use of a credit card. The director of an eastern Kentucky animal shelter speaking out after a WKYT investigation found her shelter to be below state minimum standards. The state requires county shelters to meet those standards. When we first visited the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter last month, we found below standard conditions. Chairman of the board, Tammy Noble, says it's a trade-off. If you want euthanization numbers to be low, there will be overcrowding, which can hurt the quality, she says, of the shelter.
People will come in and surrender their animals and they won't even claim them as being their own. And, you know, you have an 8 or 10-year-old dog, just knowing its name means something to that dog. And we have owners that won't even admit that they're their dogs.
Tonight on WKYT News at 6, find out what shelter officials say they need, and it's not just money.